All right, it looks like we're streaming live into our group, which is Women Entrepreneurs United in Success. But if you are a dude watching this, don't even worry. If we know you're not a man, but you're here and you have a business and we want to be united in success. I was actually just doing a marketplace research to see if it would drive any more traffic in to put women entrepreneurs, because the majority of the people in the group are women. So that's kind of a little backstory there, but I'm super excited to have Coach's Corner, which is a weekly segment where we interview another coach or consultant, business consultant, and tap into their mind and get to know them, understand who it is that they serve and how it is that they help people. And I think that's really cool as a certified business consultant myself. I love to get to know other coaches and find out what their niche is. So that way, when I'm dealing with prospective clients, I can say, hey, I don't do that, but I know Steph does that or Nicole does that. So this is just another way to also understand too what gaps are in the market and how do we fill that and how can we bridge that gap. So Steph, why don't you go ahead and introduce yourself and tell us what your title is and who it is that you serve and how you help.
Yeah, thanks, Liberty. So I'm Steph Koss. I go by Coach Steph. Pretty easygoing in the title. My main purpose is to guide other people who are looking to kind of retool their mindset, and to take their own personal power back, and how to um, shift their focus and manifest their best life, whether that's in health, um, their wealth, time, whatever it is that they're looking to improve. I'm the guide for that.
I love that. That's so good. So, how did you get into that?
Well, so the last several years, I've been working as a mental health and addiction recovery nurse. So I've spent most of my life being of service to others, and especially in the last several years, um, I noticed that you definitely come across the person who is open and willing to make the change, and then those that are still resistant. And either one it's okay, because we are where we are. And so having worked with both sides, um, both sides of those personalities, and just people, you know, choosing to kind of like hang out where they are, versus people who are ready and willing to look at where they can empower themselves and move forward. Um, I have decided to move forward and kind of create a wider reach to incorporate people who are actually in that zone where they realize that, hey, I'm in this place, it's becoming a cycle. I know there's another way. I'm not sure how to get out of it, but I do know there are other options. So that's
Yeah,
kind of the impetus and the inspiration for me to hop on this journey. And I feel like it's my soul's purpose too. I feel like I feel in alignment with that path.
yeah, I love that. And it is really important that each individual coach, consultant, person, client get that soul purpose identified. So that you have done that is really special, I believe, because I believe that your intuition has guided you to that answer. And I can only speak to that because I have my soul purpose as well. And we are very similar. Right before I hit go live, we were just talking about how we are all pretty similar,
Mhm.
and discovering how we're similar, can magnify our ability to make changes and our ability to move forward, because it's a lonely place to try to do this stuff alone. And you were talking about addiction and everything like that, and being in a place of service where people aren't resistant to the change.
Right.
um, and I think, speaking as a client of, addiction and, having a dark past, I can
Sure.
absolutely say that, when it feels lonely is when you feel resistant and lost, because you just don't know, you just don't have the guide. And there is always that little glimmer, like, yeah, maybe I could get better. But when somebody like you or myself or any of the other coaches, consultants that I've interviewed show up, then that's a divine alignment right there.
Absolutely, absolutely. It takes what it takes.
Mhm.
And I truly feel once we reach that point of awareness, our level of consciousness kind of comes online, where we have that in, this kind of inkling internally, where it's like, okay, I'm kind of done not being able to, lose the last 15 pounds.
Mhm.
I'm kind of done, binge watching Netflix for the last 6 months, 7 months. There's got to, my mental health. I mean, all these things, we come to that point where, the cycle just keeps repeating and it goes deeper. But once we reach that awareness where we know there's something better for us, I truly feel that, there's the greater forces that be, that's when the support kind of shows up in mysterious ways.
Yeah, yeah. So, from a perspective of being in the healthcare, mental health care industry, why do you think it is that coaching, consulting, and all of that is becoming more and more popular? Like, where is the gap from your perspective in the clinic atmosphere that would prevent somebody from getting the same results, or maybe the speed of results, or anything that you see that may be different? I'd love to hear your ideas on that.
Right. Well, I mean, to be honest, there's, there's a shortage of nurses, of doctors, and there's also a shortage. Because there's that shortage. There is very minimal capacity to truly care for each person that we interact with, because we're so inundated with the volume of
Mhm.
people who are in need. That's the biggest thing. And I've come across that it causes burnout, because we really want to help each and every person that is looking for it. Right. But there's a lot of limitations within the current system, the current health system. And that was, part of the realization I had, was that I was limited in how I could offer and extend, truly like focused and compassionate care for others.
Mhm.
Now with coaching, I mean, we have all aspects, we have all these concepts, from like, Bob Proctor to the Dalai Lama, spiritual and practical principles that we're able as coaches to really sit down individually and just listen, because I think, in my experience, a lot of the time is that when people come in with physical ailments, a lot of times these people aren't being listened to. It's just very quick, because of the way, the system is limited. There's a lot of capacity to do alternate, care for people. Um, it's just, I totally lost my thought. I was like so deep in my thoughts. Sorry.
Oh, no. So, but what you did say really struck a chord with me and hits my own experience. So, when I first started going to see like a psychiatrist or a counselor,
Mhm.
I was going through a really hard time in my divorce. When I was talking to can't remember if it's the psychiatrist, the one that prescribes pills.
Yes. Mhm.
When I was talking to her, I was telling her like what I was going through, kind of more or less like my background and stuff. And I walked out with a prescription,
Yeah.
a lot of prescriptions. And I was like baffled. And it took me a little bit of time to digest, what just took place. And I had to keep going back. And then, it was more pills, higher dosages. And the whole time, I'll just fast forward to where I'm at now.
Mhm.
I can look back and truly say, I didn't need those pills. I need a fucking hug.
Right.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Oh my gosh, I relate to that entirely.
Yeah.
And like, in healthcare, I mean, in healthcare specifically, psychiatrists, that's what they're trained to do.
Yeah.
Distribute medication, listen for like 5 minutes, and then distribute about 25 meds, depending. Um, and I mean, we can't fault them, because that's what they're trained to do, right?
Right.
And then looking at it differently, I truly feel that, going back to being in line with what our true purpose is, while we're here, I
Mhm.
think that we have a lot of folks that are experiencing, not being in alignment with, their true calling. And so they're not operating from, their highest level of good, and, providing a service, that can really benefit people just by giving a hug, but yeah, it's, I absolutely resonate with that.
Yeah. And two, my experience with actually taking the medication, because, for a while I was absolutely, you know, I'm pretty impressionable. And so I was
Right.
like, oh, hey, maybe I do have freaking screw loose up here.
Right.
And let me just do everybody a favor and just take all this.
Right.
But I turned into quite a bit of a zombie. There was no amount of um, emotion. It was like nothing could make me happy and nothing could make me sad. I was like this just the whole time, just
Yeah.
psh. And from that perspective, I really feel that whatever it was I was taking was blocking my ability to connect with spirit, connect with source. And that is really what drove me to go down the path of recovery.
Mhm.
Recovery from myself, recovery from what I was doing. Um, and I just like had to just be like, you know what, I don't have the answer. And I really truly think since I went through going to the doctors and getting help, that the only source that has the answer is God.
Mhm.
And so I'm really thankful that He led me down the path, to get to this point where I'm a coach now.
Right.
So I want to know, like, where did you shift? How did you shift from, you were in the Air Force and you've done also massage and
Right.
you've done the mental health.
Mhm.
Um, you know, what was maybe the narrative that was going on in your mind when you're like, I'm Coach Steph.
Mhm.
That's where I got my aha moment. Like,
Right. Right. So gosh, I mean, it's really been decades in the making. From the time I joined the military, excuse me, I was very young. I did not know myself at all. So I leave, the comforts of Los Angeles, and I randomly fly out to San Antonio, Texas, join the military, which is like the last thing, my family and friends were just absolutely blown. They're like, you're not like, you were the most laid back person. Like, what are you doing? So, so from that point on, I really think from, 2001 until this point, it's been just a huge, huge learning experience, really truly learning like who I am at the core, because like you're saying, like, I'm also very impressionable, and I've been very impressionable my whole life. And, I always thought, everybody else had the answer. I didn't know shit, sorry, oops. And,
yeah,
and, I didn't know anything.
yeah,
And so I always relied on outside sources to tell me who I was, because I had no inkling of who I was, had no self-confidence, my self-image was filled with everybody else's face on the outside.
oh yeah,
So going through the military, going through, various, trying out like what I thought were my passions, and then going through massage therapy. Now, going through massage college, that was super awesome, because that actually helped facilitate, it was more of like a spiritual, that's where like the spiritual journey began, because it was more of like, we really got in touch with, energy, the way we connect with other people,
Mhm.
and how we connect with ourselves. It was so, I mean, it wasn't necessarily about massage, it was more about you. So, but anyhow, so, and then, going from massage therapy and then into nursing, I really wanted to learn more. I just had this hunger to really learn as much as I could, so I could be of service and an asset to help facilitate people, um, help them change in the way that they're looking for, to become healthier, to become more aware. And honestly, um, due to the year that we're in, that's one thing I'm grateful for, is that it actually, like, um, I really had that shift in my own self-image and my consciousness, is that, you know, which was a really hard one, because again, I had a lot of people telling me who I was, and then, um, starting to listen to what I believed, and starting to have an open mind about what I could do, and
Mhm.
especially what I was already doing. I started to believe that, well, hey, maybe I can help other people outside
Mhm.
of the healthcare profession. Sorry. And so honestly, this year was probably the big shift that happened for me,
Yeah,
where, I'm making the leap. So
that's so good. I love that. I love that you have had your hand in all kinds of information. The military is very program and discipline. And I'm sure that that has served you tremendously,
mhm,
right? Tremendously. Because discipline with coaching and coaching your clients and being a client and all of that, that's important, because you're not going to be able to grow if you can't command yourself to do something and follow through, which is the discipline.
right.
And I think that, being in the military, I have military background in my family. I was going to become a Marine, which is really funny that you say that, because my family had the same response. They were like, really? I don't know.
Right, right.
I didn't make the height requirement, so I got out of it. But yeah, no, that's so good. It's it's just great to have all these different aspects of learning
Mm,
throughout your lifetime, like the discipline, and then yeah, the spiritual aspect of massage. I go for massage because of how great it is, and I also give massage, but I'm not licensed. I
mhm.
just do it for my family. So
Wow.
I feel the power. I know the power, and so you going through all these things, it's kind of interesting how we are in sync, and like we were saying, so similar, so
Right.
similar. So I love meeting new people. And for anybody watching, this is the first time Steph and I have actually met. So this is cool.
Yeah.
I told you, Steph, I was like, oh, I want to get to know all about you. Like, you're very interesting. But let's just do it live. So
I love
so
it. I love it.
yeah. So tell me about your program and how you and your program is different.
It's different because I'm coaching it with my personality. No, I think I feel like the foundation of the course, you could probably find some aspects of it similar to other coaching courses out there. Um, excuse me. But it's at the heart of it, it's really allowing people space to um, to just look at their paradigm,
Mhm.
their current habits, their current thought patterns, and getting clear on where they would like to make those changes, and what aspect of their life. Um, I'm so sorry. I wish I had water.
Oh,
Um, oh my God, sorry. So anyway, essentially, just pulling from my experience, working as a nurse, again, falling back on um, just acceptance and who the person is, and allowing them space to accept, like, where they are right now. If they're feeling, frustrated, angry, less than ideal and loving things towards themselves, we create a space where, we can look at that, and it's okay. It's okay where you are. It's not, and it's also not okay to be okay. I'm also here to guide you into the direction you'd like to go, and present other options to get there.
mhm.
So, really, really diving into our current mindset, bringing attention to it, and, essentially rebuilding, those ideas and those thoughts and habits. And, and then of course, also creating daily habits, to really solidify and create new patterns, that will lead you down to the place you really prefer to go.
That's so good. I love it. So how long is your program?
So it's 6 weeks.
Mhm.
It's a 6 week program. It's going to work. We do once a week. We'll have a live broadcast where we're going to be coaching together in a group, and then it will also be recorded in the event that you aren't able to make it, so you can catch up, log in, get the latest weekly homework,
Mhm.
and so you won't miss a beat.
That's good. I love that. And if someone wants to get a hold of you and join your program, I put
Mhm.
your website address on this live broadcast in the group. So
Awesome. Thank
the
you.
first step, if someone wanted to work with you, it would be to book a call with you. Is that right?
Yes, it's a, complimentary call. I honestly just want to get to know you,
Yeah.
where you're operating from, and what you're looking to create in your life.
Hmm. I love that. And about how many seats do you have available in your program?
So I have about 5 available right now.
That's
Yeah.
awesome. So
Yeah.
it'll be a nice intimate group.
Yes. And that's, I there really is, a certain power in a group, and especially a small group when we're all focused, on the same thing, and to create a really supportive space for everybody, again, to have like just a, loving kind of, not to sound too hippie and spiritual, but, to really operate from that level of acceptance for everybody and encouraging each other.
That's good. So is there like written material that they study and then you guys come together and just work through wherever they're at?
Right. So each coaching session, I'll bring up the concept, we'll talk about it, and then how we can apply that through the next week, through
Mhm.
our daily, through our day to day. And then we'll come back and kind of, talk about if there's anything that stuck out to them, or maybe feeling resistant to, and really just, I mean, because my intention is to really, dissolve those barriers and the resistance, that people may be experiencing, because I know that's what I went through.
Oh yeah.
And yeah, so and I feel that the more we're kind of focused on, really retooling that and allowing those to dissolve, it'll
Mhm.
absolutely create lasting change,
Yeah.
whatever it is. So
I love that. That's so good. I always say like you find your client two steps behind you.
yes,
So
yes.
that's how you know if they're your client. Like, we have
Absolutely.
so many things in common, and yes, I've gone before you and I've done this. That's so good. Well, thank you so much for taking your time and getting on this interview, Coach's Corner.
Yeah,
And
thank
I'm
you.
thrilled to have you as a part of our group now, also. So I want to point out to you and to anybody else watching that you're allowed to go live in the group. You're allowed to promote yourself and your upcoming programs. I just ask that you do it with passion and come from a place of adding value to the group. Um, because as we know with reciprocal energy, it's important that we give before we receive. And then two, people buy from people that they know, like, and trust. And if you just show up just to talk about your program, then people maybe are not as interested, to follow
Right,
along.
right.
So that's more for everybody watching, just to kind of understand how the group works. Because I want this group to be like a environment, a whole ass community where we're just lifting each other up, teaching each other strategy and mindset and manifestation and all of those things. I want everyone to feel excited and empowered to do what their purpose is, what they're, or if you're not sure, then to find it.
Absolutely. Yeah. There, and what's so great is, when we're tapped in with the laws of the universe, like operating from instead of competing, operating from the level of creativity. I mean,
Yes.
it's an abundant space, there's space for all of us, and that's what's so great. And we all have different aspects to our personality and perspectives that will really help, the next person. So
Absolutely. I love that. And I believe that everybody here has that same like concept. So it's just bringing out the level of awareness. And some people don't even know how to communicate that too.
totally.
And I would absolutely recommend just writing exercises. Like get it out of your mind. How does it feel? What does it sound like? So you can
Right.
just get clear.
Right.
But that's what coaching and guidance also does too, from a business perspective. So
Absolutely.
yeah.
Absolutely.
Awesome, Steph. Well, have a beautiful, great day,
Thank
and
you. You too.
so glad to have you here connected with us.
Thank you
Thank
so
you.
much.
You're
I appreciate
welcome.
it.
Bye, everyone.
Bye.